we actually have substantiated proof of something that we already knew, that abortion bans kill people, said the president of Reproductive Freedom for All in 2024 to ProPublica. This stark statement is not an exaggeration or an emotional appeal, but rather an undeniable reality that has emerged with the retraction of Roe v. Wade. Amber Thurman's tragic death after taking abortion bills demonstrates in the clearest terms possible that abortion bans are not just a political issue, they are a matter of life and death. This reality is not limited to the headlines, but extends to the lived experiences of women across the United States. Amber's death was preventable, a loss that underscores the truth that reproductive health care is not merely a choice, but a necessity for women's health and safety. The consequences of abortion bans are not abstract to me. They are deeply personal. In 2000, my mother faced a medical emergency during her first pregnancy. Without access to an abortion, she would have not survived, and I would not be standing here today telling this story. The reality is simple. Abortion is often the only medical intervention that can protect a woman's life, and without it, tragedies like Amber's will only continue to unfold. My story and Amber's, though different in circumstance, are connected through the undeniable truth that abortion care is an essential part of healthcare. This issue cannot be ignored or dismissed. Today, I want to highlight the critical danger abortion bans pose to women's health by discussing the following key points. 1. How delays and denials of critical medical care fueled by abortion bans cost lives. 2. Why abortion is a vital and life-saving form of healthcare that is often necessary in medical emergencies. And finally, the urgent need for nationwide advocacy and legislative reform to protect women's rights to access essential healthcare, including abortion. One of the most horrific consequences of abortion bans is the way in which they delay or completely deny women's access to life-saving care. Amber Thurman's tragic story serves as an extreme example of how these bans jeopardize women's health and, in some cases, lead to their deaths. Amber, after taking abortion pills, began experiencing severe symptoms such as heavy bleeding, extreme pain, and ultimately loss of consciousness. She sought emergency medical help at Piedmont Henry Hospital in Georgia, but the doctors were hesitant to act. Despite the fact that her condition clearly warranted a routine dilation and curettage, known as D&C procedure, an intervention that would have saved her life, the healthcare professionals hesitated to provide the care due to the restrictive abortion laws in place in Georgia. This hesitation had nothing to do with a lack of medical knowledge or resources. It was entirely driven by the fear of legal repercussions. The doctors were caught in a dilemma, whether to act in the best interests of their patient or follow the law. Despite 10 medical experts later confirming that Amber's death was entirely preventable, the legal restrictions surrounding abortion care paralyzed the healthcare providers, preventing them from offering her the timely treatment that she needed. This tragic loss of life serves as a direct consequence of a healthcare system in which legal fears take precedent over patient care. Amber's story is far from an isolated case. In states with abortion bans, women experiencing pregnancy complications are routinely denied the care that they need. Many are told to go home and wait until their condition worsens, leaving them to endure dangerous symptoms like severe bleeding and unbearable pain. Some women are told to only return when they are crashing or near death, putting their lives in even greater jeopardy. These policies are not just damaging because they're deadly. The evidence is undeniable. For example, according to a report by Kay Serrana in 2024, between 2019 and 2022, Texas saw a horrifying 56% increase in maternal mortality rates, a stark contrast to the 11% rise nationwide. This increase is directly tied to the policies that delay or deny care. And in Texas and states with similar laws, like Georgia, doctors and healthcare providers are forced to make impossible decisions, and women's lives are put at risk as a result. The legal environment created by abortion bans limits access to timely, necessary care, and as a result, more women die. These statistics and stories should resonate deeply with anyone who values life and health. Amber Thurman's death could have been avoided had she been given proper care. The same is true for the countless women who have died or faced irreversible harm because abortion bans prevented them from receiving the medical attention that they needed. My own family's experience could have been easily part of this tragic narrative. Had my mother not had access to an abortion, she would have died from an ectopic pregnancy, and I would not be here today. Amber Thurman's death and my mother's experience underscore a critical point. Abortion is not just an option for women, it is an essential aspect of healthcare. My parents were thrilled to learn that they were expecting their first child. But that joy quickly turned to fear when an ultrasound revealed that my mother's pregnancy was ectopic, meaning that the embryo had implanted outside of her uterus in her fallopian tube. An ectopic pregnancy is a non-viable and life-threatening condition. Without immediate medical intervention, an ectopic pregnancy can cause a rupture in the fallopian tube, leading to life-threatening internal bleeding. In my mother's case, the only medical solution was an abortion. Without it, she faced a very real possibility of death. The procedure was not an elective choice. It was a medical necessity. It saved her life and ensured that she could go on to have the family that she had always dreamed of. Had she not had access to abortion, both her life and mine would have been lost. My mother's experience demonstrates why abortion must be seen as a critical, life-saving part of healthcare. Abortion is not simply about a choice. It is a necessary medical procedure in certain circumstances. Conditions like ectopic pregnancies, incomplete miscarriages, and certain fetal abnormalities often require prompt intervention. And abortion is often the only way to ensure that the woman's safety and health is 100%. The reality is that when abortion is restricted, women are forced into dangerous, life-threatening situations. They may be told that they cannot seek care until their health has deteriorated to the point where their lives are in danger, or they may face irreparable damage from delays in receiving care. According to the Cleveland Clinic in 2024, untreated infections can lead to severe complications like sepsis or damage to reproductive organs. These scenarios are not hypothetical. They are happening every day in states with abortion bans like Georgia. Amber Thurman's death and my mother's survival highlights the importance of having access to necessary abortion care. In my mother's case, timely access to abortion allowed her to survive and thrive. In Amber's case, the denial of care led to her death. These outcomes should not be determined by where you live or the political climate in your state. Women deserve the right to make decisions about their health and to receive timely care no matter the circumstances. The stark realities of Amber Thurman's death and the rising maternal mortality rates in restrictive states underscore the urgent need for action. This is not just an issue for individual families or isolated incidents, as stated before. It is a national crisis that demands our attention and action. We must advocate for the protection and expansion of reproductive rights at every level of government. First, we need federal legislation that guarantees women the right to access abortion care, regardless of where they live. The right to a safe and legal abortion should not depend on the state that you reside in or the political ideology of your local lawmakers. This must be a federally protected right for all women. No woman should have to travel across state lines or wait for an emergency to unfold to receive care. Second, healthcare providers must be protected from prosecution when they provide necessary care. In states with restrictive abortion laws, many doctors feel paralyzed, fearing that their medical licenses could be revoked or that they could face criminal charges for offering life-saving care. We must push for laws that ensure that healthcare providers are free to do their jobs without fear of legal consequences. Healthcare professionals should not be forced to choose between their patients' well being and their careers. Advocacy for abortion rights also requires raising awareness. Too many people still view abortion as a political issue rather than a healthcare issue. It is essential to change the way that abortion is discussed in public discourse so it is understood for what it truly is, a necessary and vital part of healthcare that can save lives. Personal stories, like Amber's and my mother's, are powerful tools in changing public opinion. These stories can help shift the narrative and provide the emotional connection that often fuels political change. We also need healthcare providers to speak out. Many doctors and nurses feel trapped in restrictive states where they fear being punished for performing abortions. Their voices are essential to the conversation. Healthcare professionals who witness the harms caused by abortion bans must come forward and testify to the devastating consequences of these laws. Their stories can help dismantle the legal barriers that prevent women from receiving the care that they need. Finally, we must challenge the stigma surrounding abortion. For too long, abortion has been treated as something shameful rather than as a critical healthcare procedure. By reframing the conversation and emphasizing the importance of access to abortion for women's health, we can build a more supportive environment for reproductive rights. Let us honor Amber Thurman's memory and the memories of countless women who have suffered and died as a result of these restrictive abortion laws by taking action. This is not just about politics or policy. It's about compassion, justice, and the fundamental right to healthcare. Every voice matters in this fight. Whether it's voting for leaders who prioritize reproductive rights, supporting organizations that provide care and advocacy, or simply sharing stories like Amber's, we all have a role to play in building a future where no woman has to fear for her life because of where she lives or the laws that govern her body. The fight for reproductive health care is a fight for human rights, for dignity, and for the freedom to make decisions about our own lives. Together, we can create a society where women are not silenced by stigma or restrained by fear, but empowered to access the care they need to live full, healthy, and safe lives. Thank you.